Good Thursday afternoon, guys. Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us here in Charlottesville, across Albemarle County, Central Virginia, the world, on the I Love CVille Network. Another update on a downtown mall beer garden coming for you in a matter of moments. An update on a beer garden in downtown Scottsville, including some commentary to relay to you from the town manager of Scottsville in his pursuit for said beer garden in downtown Scottsville. I'm going to tell you right now, Scottsville, a downtown beer garden, that is perfect for that community. We'll talk about these topics on the I Love CVille Show. If Scottsville and downtown Charlottesville get these two beer gardens, and they're very close to becoming a reality, we'll tell you why in a matter of moments, Albemarle County and its Board of Supervisors will feel a keeping up with the Joneses pressure to do the exact same thing. I have that story for you, including where it could go on today's program. We will also talk about the CVille Weekly, the weekly newspaper that's covered Central Virginia for decades. Remember, the CVille Weekly absorbed The Hook. Frankly, The Hook was one of my favorite, if not my favorite, print publications in Central Virginia. Hall Spencer, Dave McNair, Courtney Stewart, Lisa Providence, they did a hell of a job at The Hook. Ownership behind CVille Weekly was basically the same ownership of The Hook, and the CVille absorbed The Hook from a cost-saving standpoint. Now the CVille very much in trouble and in peril. That story for you. I'm going to ask you this question. Bank of America building, I think we have an American on the PTI, no big deal if we do, that was my fault. But the Bank of America building, what to do with a massive building of columns, stone, 100-foot ceilings, a bank vault. The Bank of America building, of course, one-time Prime 109. What, if you are Hunter Craig, do you do with this building that comes with a massive price tag of more than $20,000 a month in rent? We will brainstorm possibilities for the Bank of America building. We will relay that homeowners in the United States, year over year, got $2 trillion richer. You heard me correctly. Homeowners in America, year over year, saw their equity jump by more than 20% in the first quarter of this year versus Q1 of 2020. This represents a collective cash gain of close to $2 trillion per borrower. The average gain was over $33,000. If you own a home in America, your equity, over $33,000 year over year, a direct reflection of COVID, record low mortgage rates, a buyer's frenzy, and a lack of supply that's been percolating for decades and decades. New construction has not kept pace with new jobs. New construction has not kept pace with buyer demand. A lot we're going to cover on the program, including welcoming Ray Caddell. He's going to join us in about 9 minutes on the show. Ray Caddell and team. I believe Tom Powell is part of that team. Tom, let us know. They're doing their best to yet again save the fireworks in Charlottesville. Remember last year, I Love CVille and this network was very much a part of that effort. I did not know this year that the same effort was being made, but as soon as Ray Caddell reached out to me and said, hey, we need some help, we need some exposure, I said, dude, you're my boy Blue, come on down to the studio and let's talk about it immediately. So we're going to try to save the fireworks in Charlottesville, Wendell Woods Mountain. I think the number is $25,000 that must be raised. Last check, that number was right around $1,200 raised through a GoFundMe link. So we'll talk about that on today's program. Thank you to Dr. Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine for being a part of today's program. Dr. Wagner's got your back. Ting Fiber Internet, the best internet in Charlottesville, powers and presents the I Love CVille Network. All right, so let's talk this beer garden topic. Guys, I'm going to cut to the chase. The beer garden topic is getting serious momentum in City Hall right now. I know for a fact, serious momentum. We did a business model yesterday. I would encourage anyone to go to ilovecville.com, ilovecville.com, and read the beer garden business model that we put in play. I will recap it now for you, and then I'm going to explain how this beer garden could really be a reality first in Scottsville, the town of Scottsville, and potentially Albemarle County as well. First, the business model in Charlottesville, the outline written very clearly and cohesively on I Love CVille by yours truly. I wrote kind of an open letter to Mr. Chip Boyles, who I have tremendous respect for, and asked him, please consider this way of doing it. Here's the nitty-gritty. City employee, center of the downtown mall, across from Zocalo Restaurant, which is owned by Ivan Rekash. You get a $15 an hour employee, you put them at a table, heck, you can cover the table, you can maybe do a kiosk. There was one time a kiosk in the heart of the downtown mall. Check out that side panel there, Judah. Please, sir. And you sell a wristband. The wristband has a nominal charge of $2, $3, $4, $5, whatever it may be. Don't be too greedy, City Hall. If you're too greedy with the cost of the wristband, the barrier of entry is going to be too high and people are going to choose not to get the wristband. Okay? So let's do the wristband for $2 or $5, $3, $4, whatever it may be. You have people go to the center spot in the downtown mall, have them show their ID. The employee then gives the consumer a wristband. This wristband allows folks to go to the restaurants in downtown Charlottesville and take beer, wine, cider, craft cocktails to go and walk from the Ting Pavilion, not the Sprint Pavilion anymore, the Ting Pavilion, our partners at Ting, from the Ting Pavilion to the Code Building, up and back, walking outside like Savannah, Georgia does. Of course, you know this happens in Bourbon Street in New Orleans. I don't like the comparison to New Orleans because frankly, my brother's bachelor party that was there, and that's just bananas. That's the last thing we want in downtown Charlottesville. But Savannah does this well. Greenville, South Carolina does this well at times of the year. You buy the wristband, and then you're able to go to the restaurants. You're able to get a cup from the restaurants, a to-go cup, and take that to-go cup and walk from restaurant to restaurant, kind of like bar hopping. Right? A little bar crawl. It would be cool. Now, folks have said to me after I posted and created, the outline of the business model, why would we buy the wristband? Why would we buy the wristband? The answer is you don't have to do it. If you want to have a beverage at Citizen Burger Bar and stay on their patio or inside the restaurant, you can do that. No one's saying you can't. But if you want to hop from bar to bar to bar to bar, you're going to have to buy the band. And the value proposition of getting a 3-notch Minuteman, or the value proposition of getting a Bold Rock, or the value proposition of getting a Martini and walking from the pavilion to Code, that's going to have value to a lot of people. People will pay for it. In fact, I'll give you some numbers. Let's extrapolate some data and do some revenue projection, shall we? Let's say City Hall puts one $15 an hour employee to start. One. I think you're eventually going to need two. But let's say you start with one. Side panel. Let's say you start with one. I would bet you would get on a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday 1,000 people if the weather is good, and certainly during the summer tourist time, buying this wristband. 1,000 people, and let's use a conservative number of $3. Frankly, I think the number is going to check in at $5. You know what? We'll use $5. Let's go 1,000 people at $5 a pop. That's 5G. 5G times 3 days. That's 15K. Let's say you're able to get that kind of demand 35 weeks. Wow, Pattie, you're early. Let's say you get that demand 35 weeks a year, 15K times 35, you just made $525,000 of incremental revenue for Charlottesville. You hear what I'm saying? The budget for Charlottesville is a little over $200 million. A little over $200 million. We just created a way of making an additional $500K with conservative revenue projections. This is called good business. This is a no-brainer. On top of the $500,000 in conservative revenue projections, that's front-end money, front-end revenue. The back-end revenue is the true money. The true money is on the backside. That's the meals tax revenue that you're going to get from the sales of the booze and the food in downtown Charlottesville. The back-end money will be 5-6x more than the front-end money. This business model legitimately would generate $5 million in incremental revenue a year for the local municipality. $5 million on a $200 million budget is a substantial amount of incremental revenue. We're talking a 2.5% increase in found new revenue. 2.5%. Any business that can create an idea that's new and novel and innovative, and that idea can drive 2.5% of incremental revenue, that's something that you're going to do long term. You get a bunch of 2.5% of incremental revenue, and good God, your business is going to crush it. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. If the city of Charlottesville does this, what do you think is the next thing that's going to happen? Albemarle County is going to follow suit. Albemarle County and the city of Charlottesville are linked. They will forever be intertwined like a Boy Scout knot. Albemarle County will say, we have to keep up with Charlottesville because we don't want to lose the tax revenue to the city. We don't want to lose the tourists to the city. Heck, someone who's running for Board of Supervisors could really weave this idea into his or her platform, right? Probably so. So if Albemarle County sees the city of Charlottesville doing this, and it's being discussed literally right now at City Hall, I know because I'm a part of those conversations, what do you think Albemarle is going to do? They're going to figure out a way to do it themselves. You know what a natural spot for this would be in Albemarle County? The shops at Stonefield. The shops at Stonefield have parking galore, a movie theater, and restaurants. Imagine in the shops of Stonefield, you have an open air container. What would that do for the shops of Stonefield that are owned by a New York City private equity firm? It would create a localized reason for local businesses to try to pursue the shops of Stonefield. Right now, you go to the shops of Stonefield, and outside of Champion Grill, can you think of a local business in there? You got Champion Grill, Grit Coffee, Mincers. Outside of that, can you think of any others? Probably not. So as Charlottesville follows suit of Savannah, Georgia, Greenville, South Carolina, maybe you throw the Florida Keys in there. I don't want to add New Orleans to the mix because that's a shit show, for lack of a better phrase. As they follow suit of Savannah and Greenville, Charlottesville's going to do this. Albemarle County will follow suit, and most likely the shops of Stonefield will be the option. That will create a local reason for people to go there. Now get this. After talking about this idea on the I Love CVille Network, town manager of Scottsville, Matt Lawless, yesterday at 5:23 p.m., we talked about this business model at 12:30 yesterday, and we posted the mechanics of the business model on the I Love CVille Network in the middle of the afternoon yesterday. At 5:23 yesterday, Matt Lawless, town manager of Scottsville, put this tweet in the Twitter sphere. I'm looking at this for Scottsville too. Who is the city contact for the ABC stuff, economic development, or the police? Boys and girls, this is the definition of keeping up with the Joneses. Every municipality has to be cutting edge and innovative to capture revenue from tourists and locals alike. We talked about it on the show yesterday. 5:23, 3 hours later, 4 hours after talking about it on the show, town manager of Scottsville sending a tweet about this to the Twitter sphere. Imagine the potential of an open air container from James River Brewery all the way to Tavern on the James. That would have a humongous impact on a sleepy, charming, and intimate town that is trying to reinvent itself. I will bring this topic up tomorrow with Nancy Gill, the former mayor of Scottsville, the brewmaster of James River Brewery, and I think the brewery front end manager tomorrow on the I Love CVille show, the open air beer garden in Scottsville. And frankly speaking, I'm going to weave this into my campaign for Albemarle County Board of Supervisors. Incremental revenue, so citizens and voters are not expected to carry the tax burden even more. You know where the tax burden comes from? Real estate taxes. Instead of taking money out of our pockets as homeowners, why don't we come up with creative ways to keep more money in the voters and citizens' pockets, but still get the revenue flowing to the municipality so the municipality can do the innovations and upgrades and improvements it needs. More on that tomorrow on this fair program. A couple items before we welcome Ray Caddell to the show. There are 2 buildings on the downtown. Frankly speaking, do you have the photos from yesterday, the Charlottesville Empty Storefront Index? You do? Rotate all those photos through. As you rotate all those photos through, please, Sir Judah, thank you kindly. We'll eventually focus on the Bank of America building, which is owned by Hunter Craig, and the CVille Weekly building that is currently vacant. This tells you traditional media. The CVille Weekly, its building is for lease, for rent. They're not using it. So I'm trying to brainstorm possibilities for this Bank of America building. And I'm also trying to brainstorm possibilities for the CVille Weekly building. And frankly, all the empty storefronts on the downtown mall, there's 20% of them that are empty. Downtown's the heartbeat of Charlottesville. And if tourists come to Charlottesville and they see 1 out of 5 buildings are completely empty and have a for lease sign, the tourists will have, it's perception is reality, the tourists will have a head-scratching moment and say, hey, what the hell is going on here? That'll happen, okay? The average Joe is not gonna be like, oh, we're out of the pandemic, these small businesses couldn't make it, they're not recovering. They're just gonna say 1 out of 5 buildings in the heartbeat of Charlottesville is freaking empty and it has a for sale or for lease sign on it. Okay, that's literally happening now. So we better figure out this problem. And you know what for lease and for sale buildings, you know what happens with them? For lease and for sale buildings create other for lease and for sale buildings. It's the broken window mantra. A broken window in New York City creates more broken windows around it. A for lease building in the downtown Charlottesville creates more for lease buildings around it. That's just the nature of the game. Perception is reality. The Bank of America building, I'm gonna straight up say this. The 2 hardest buildings to rent in downtown Charlottesville right now that are for rent are the Downtown Grill building, which is massive. That's the 2nd hardest. The hardest building to rent on the downtown mall is the Bank of America building owned by massive landlord Hunter Craig. The Bank of America building has a price tag well north of $20,000 a month, probably flirting with $30,000 a month. You're talking a 5-year lease commitment minimum, and you're looking at an escalator of probably 4% every year. So let's go 30 G's a month times 12 months a year. That's $360,000. Times that by 5 years, the minimum lease commitment. You're looking at a commitment of $1.8 million. Who's got the courage and the chutzpah to sign a $1.8 million lease when you're personally guaranteeing it? So I'm going to brainstorm some options of what to do with the Bank of America building. I think you immediately, if you're Hunter Craig, you got to chop that bad boy up into much more manageable and smaller square foot footprints. You can't rent a space that has 100 freaking plus foot ceilings, marble everywhere, columns outside, a couple of homeless dudes that are hammered sleeping out in the front door, and find someone in this town to be able to do it post-COVID. It's just not going to happen. You got to chop it up. You got to chop up the downtown grill building. The era of 6,000 and 7,000 square foot steakhouses, I'm afraid that era might be behind us. Chop them up, make the spaces make them smaller. A smaller space means lower square feet, means less rent. That's what you do with these buildings, boys and girls. Time will tell, but in its current footprint, I don't see the BOA building, that beautiful, it's one of the most beautiful buildings on the downtown mall, renting how it is now. Nor do I see Downtown Grill building renting how it is now. 30 seconds away from Ray Caddell, Pattie Zeller is going to join us also on today's program. She is the #1 retailista in the Commonwealth of Virginia, friend of this program, and frankly, Pattie Zeller is one of those type of people that should be running a local municipality as well. She runs a small business and every day walks in and innovates left and right and gets you-know-what done quickly. That's what government needs. That's why I'm trying to get involved. Last item out of my, no, 2 more items out of the notebook, and then Ray Caddell here. Ray, we will get you in T-minus 45 seconds here. Homeowners in America from Q1 2020 to Q1 2021 earned $2 trillion in equity. $2 trillion in equity. The average homeowner, according to CoreLogic, who tracks equity and home valuations, saw their gain go year over year. The average homeowner, $33,400. Good Lord, guys. You live in a house in the first quarter of 2020, and you live in the same house in the first quarter of this year, and you just enjoyed $33,000 of appreciation for doing nothing but paying your mortgage and sleeping and putting your head on your pillow. A direct reflection of supply and demand, a direct reflection of home builders and new construction not keeping up with demand from home buyers, a direct reflection of historically low mortgage rates, a direct reflection of people fleeing rental apartments in densely populated areas like DC, New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore, you name it, and going to the burbs where they're buying cribs at levels we've never seen before. The average American that is a homeowner earned $33,400 of home equity by putting their head on a pillow and snoring next to their wife. That right there is 2 words: generational wealth. And our last topic, before we welcome a man that needs very little introduction, the Renaissance Ray Caddell, who's got attire, flair. The man's dressed to the nines, plays the horn as well as Kenny G, although it's a different horn. I'm going to put him in that category. A man who loves a good bourbon, loves to smoke some meats, smokes his meats with his dinner jacket on outside, loves to swim in his swimming pool, has got beautiful children, a new dog, and a beautiful wife. Ray Caddell, to talk saving the fireworks in Charlottesville. Sad news for UVA sports fans. DeAndre Hunter, banged up knee, meniscus related. The Atlanta Hawks forward, the UVA product, out of the NBA playoffs. Knee surgery this week. DeAndre Hunter, we wish you luck in your recovery, and we thank you for the help you gave Tony Bennett and Wahoo Nation in winning a national championship. J-Dubs, why don't we get the Renaissance Ray Caddell? In fact, why don't we call him Renaissance Ray on set now? Renaissance Ray, do we have you, my friend? We're ready for you. a man who's got the talent of Kenny G, a man who's got the
Too much coffee.
the looks of Tom Cruise, a man who's got the physique of Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
Ray Caddell's in the house. He's sitting down here in the studio. We love this guy tremendously. My friend, I could follow you all week long if you would like.
You got so many things wrong. But the most important thing is I'm a Scotch drinker, not a bourbon drinker.
Oh, Scotch. That's right.
And only single malt.
And you don't live in Earlysville.
Well, you get that wrong all the time.
I get that wrong all the time, don't I?
I live in Carsbrook.
He lives in Carsbrook. This is your camera here. Ray, for those that don't know you, and there's few in this town that don't know you, introduce yourself to me.
Sure. I'm Ray Caddell. I've been here 36 years, although my wife has been here for generations. That doesn't sound right. My wife's family has been here for generations. I really know only how to do two things, and I discovered that very early in life, which is good because I don't know how else I would make a living. I'm a real estate broker for a long time here with Ray Caddell and Company Real Estate on Rio Road, and I'm a musician. I have a band called Big Ray and the Cool Cats, and those two things have led to me at this point in my life, and I'm 66, by the way.
I did not know that.
I am.
You're aging well?
Well, thanks. I've never had a job. I've been self-employed my whole life since I was, 14, and it's pretty great. Although my kids, they're not kids anymore, of course.
They're adults with kids, some of them.
Yeah, sure. I got grandchildren too, that's right. And another one on the way. At one time or another, they all said to me, "Oh, you have the greatest job in the world because you don't have a boss." I said, "I have like 75 bosses."
It's our clients.
And they change every day.
I know. And they all think they're the only client on the roster.
No kidding. And particularly in the real estate business, the internet actually made my job way more difficult, not easier, because I used to go in the morning and open the book and look through the book, which was, I don't know if you even remember
MLS.
the book. Yeah. Which is like the size of a phone book in this town, and look for houses for my clients. Well, now my clients are up at 3 o'clock in the morning on Zillow and car.com and all that kind of stuff because, they only have one thing to worry about in their life. That's their house. So, I hear from them pretty early. But it's okay. We work it all out together. And I am, it's funny, I was listening to you talking about what's driving this unbelievable increase in equity. And maybe I wasn't listening, but to me, the thing that drives it the most is this lack of inventory across the country.
That's what we said.
And my whole career, I was looking at the numbers the other day, almost 70% first-time home buyers that I've worked with. I'm really proud of that. I mean, I got a lot of people a house that never thought they could get a house. But this week, yesterday, I finished a deal that I'm maybe the most proud of in my entire career. I found in Albemarle County a completely renovated house.
Oh my gosh.
For a young, single, female firefighter.
Get out.
And I didn't actually realize it. They just go out and risk their lives every day and save our property and our lives, and we don't pay them very much.
No.
She was able to qualify for $185,000.
You found a $185,000 home in Albemarle County?
I did.
How did you do that? Did you play the lottery that same day?
Well, let me tell you the truth. I was certainly looking for that, but that client at like 6:30 in the morning.
She found it.
Sent me a text. I said, "This just came on." I'm like, "We got to go see it."
And did you make moves immediately?
And it was.
You have to.
There's no. You can't wait these days. You just can't wait. And we even have this coming soon thing,
right?
Which I used for the first time on a listing that hit the market of mine today. And
you have 2 weeks in that window, right?
Well, at most.
Okay.
Well, the interesting thing about that window is you can't really do anything. If I have coming soon and you call me as a client or another realtor, you call me and say, "Hey, I need to show that house," that stops the clock and I have 24 hours to put it on the market to everybody. So, I guess it's okay. I don't know. Sometimes I think the whole point of it is to get people, excited about trying to find a house. There are plenty excited out there. We just don't have enough houses.
Do you miss the day of when the MLS was a book?
Well, I go back even...
You had a lot more control then.
There's no question about it. I go back before that even. In Virginia Beach, where I was before I came here, we used to go to a restaurant in the mornings for breakfast, 10 or 12 of us, and we would pass around flyers of our new listings that we had to go made at a printer because there was no, forget about printing it on your computer, there was no computers. We had to go to, and there was no Kinko's. You had to go to a printer to get these things and spread them around to our guys. Do I miss that? Yeah, a little bit. The last two guys to give up the book in the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors.
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
Are they still active or no?
One of them is.
Jim McVeigh?
No.
Okay.
Although Jim McVeigh had a listing of the first house I bought when I moved here, Intrastate.
Really?
Yep, good guy.
Because this has got to be seasoned realtors,
yeah.
Right? Is that the right word? Yeah.
Seasoned. Well, one of them was me. I was one of the last two to give it up.
Okay. Who was the other one?
The other guy's retired. A guy named Dick Bell.
Okay.
Who was around for a long time. Yeah, sure. I miss that. I miss the business that way. I miss shaking hands and looking people in the eye. Although I still deal with that a lot. I miss. If you're the other realtor, I miss you and I getting together and me presenting my offer to you and telling you about my clients. And maybe trying to sway you a little, tell them that, she's a professional young female firefighter and fight for me on this one with your client. There's DocuSign and there's texting and it's okay. It's okay. I make sure that I know what to do with it. I make sure that I stay on top of that kind of technology. For my client's best interests. But to answer your question, I do miss the old days a little bit.
How do you characterize Charlottesville and Central Virginia post-COVID?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure we're post-COVID yet.
Okay.
When you talk about that probably 30% of Virginians are not vaccinated yet.
Yeah, that's roughly right.
Hard to call it post-COVID.
Yeah.
And if you think of that 30%, so half of them aren't going to get vaccinated.
Yeah. Because they don't believe in it.
They may be anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
It may be a political thing with them. Although, you know me, I'm a very conservative guy politically. But the problem with politics and COVID is that every Republican, Democrat, communist, liberal, libertarian.
Yeah, Tea Party.
That we all didn't march to Washington and say, not this time, you guys. This is not about politics
about health.
this time. Yeah, not this time. If you can't find something to agree on, this is the issue.
Amen.
And we didn't do that, and they didn't agree on it. But I think, I'm in another business too, as you know, and I
that business got hammered.
Oh, it was. I'll give you just one little guy, just me. So we worked in 2019. We worked 121 nights.
Wow.
In 2020, we worked 9.
Gosh.
All 9 of them were
February and January.
I hesitate to use the word illegal. 5 of them were in February and January. Okay. The other 4 were questionable about whether we had met all the proper requirements. That business is coming back very strong.
I'm sure.
I wonder if it's not artificially strong because I think we have 46 dates left between now and the end of the year, many of which are weddings, many of which are weddings. Very few of them were actually scheduled for this year. They were bumped over from last year. My favorite story is I have 4 brides that are having their party in 2023.
Get out.
They already got married in 2020.
Small wedding at the Judge.
We did the little small thing. Okay. I had maybe 2 pieces there or something like that. And I have a number of people that have done that. But these same 4 women who don't know each other, by the way, who have moved to 23, all have gotten pregnant.
I was going to say. Yeah. So at their parties, the Bambinos are going to be crawling around.
Well, they wanted to
start their family.
They wanted to be drinking and partying and dancing. So, I think that business is coming back very strong. I know at least mine is. Although I took that time when I wasn't running all around the country 3 nights a week to learn about stuff you deal with every day, SEO and Google Ads and things like that. What do you know? It works.
Yeah, it's amazing if you're consistent. Paul McCarter watching. He says, "Hey Ray, let's get another deal going."
Yeah, Paul and I we need to do more deals together because it was
Paul's
really.
good people.
Well, listen to this. First of all, I had the seller. First of all, he brought me. He said, "What makes me win if we get multiple offers?" I said, my money, of course. Yeah. I said, but my people they don't really want to move right away because they're moving to a rental property of theirs, which is not done yet, or the people hadn't left yet. They want to do some work. So he got me like a 45 or 60 day rent back, which is for my sellers, which is fairly unusual.
That's substantial.
Well, my people paid for it. It wasn't a money thing. It was just the thing.
But most buyers want to get in their new home immediately.
Sure. How about these buyers? 2 weeks after we signed the contract and everything's moving along, their house burns down.
Oh my God.
Nobody hurt. No animals hurt either, Pattie. No, nobody hurt. Now they really got nowhere to live. They got nowhere to live. And Paul really led his people calmly and sanely and safely through that.
How so?
I don't know. I wasn't there, but
hotel, short-term rental. Paul?
I think they did some hotels and maybe some short-term rentals too. I'm not sure, but all the regular stuff we have to deal with, like home inspections and appraisals, and all that stuff. He's. I had not met Paul before that. I knew who he was, but I know a lot more about him now. Interesting guy.
Neil Williamson says, per the Blue Ridge Health District, 49.5% fully vaccinated. 49.5% fully vaccinated. That's got to be in our district.
Wait a minute. Doesn't that mean more people are not vaccinated than are vaccinated?
Well, that would be fully. So another percentage and change has got probably the one-shotter. Do you say this? I'm going to throw this out there, okay? And this might irk some people, but such is the nature of hosting a talk show. Those that choose not to get vaccinated. Okay, I'm vaccinated. You're vaccinated. Mm-hmm. We're going to call it Darwinism.
Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of reasons why people don't want to. Let me give you a very close to home, I don't want to get vaccinated story that affected me. So now I have band clients that are saying, hey, is your band vaccinated? Now, what I want to say is, how about those 200 people you're bringing to the ballroom? Right. But I don't do that. Yeah. And the first guy that asked me that, I said, I don't know the answer to that question. I really ought to. So what we had done before was, if you were going to on stage with me, you had to show me a negative COVID test from that wasn't more than 5 days old. My clients thought I was protecting them. Well, it was protecting them, but I stand closer to those people than the clients do. So I reached out to my band. I said, hey, getting questions about our vaccination status. So I think there's three answers. Yes, I'm vaccinated. Yes, I'm half vaccinated and I'm waiting for my second one and here's the date. Or no, I'm not going to get vaccinated. Yeah. And I had one no. And
that's a tough spot for you.
It wasn't tough at all. Yeah. I got to stand next to the guy on the stage, and You
said you're not going to stand next to him?
So I called him up and I said, talk to me. He said, well, and he just went the wrong way. Sometimes when it's going to be a difficult conversation, you have to ease into it. He said, I'm not getting vaccinated and you can't make me. I said, well, I said, hello, good to talk to you. Guy had been with me for 5 years, maybe. Okay. I said, let's talk about it a little bit. He said, well, I don't believe in it. Now, interestingly, this is a very liberal, youngest guy in the band, vegetarian, in great shape. He said, I'm not doing it, blah, 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 you can't make me. I said, yeah, why would you want to push me into that corner? I said, maybe, I'm not offering this, but maybe we'll do the thing where you have to give me a clean test every week. He said, I'm not getting tested anymore either, and you can't make me. I said, well...
The band is Big Ray and the Cool Cat.
I said, what? He said, you can't make me and you can't fire me either. I said, well, I hated to go down that road, but as long as you opened that toll gate, I said, you live and work in Virginia. We're a right-to-work state.
That's right.
We have some really interesting ways of looking at things like that. I said, and even closer to home than that, you're an independent contractor. I said, so you're right, I can't fire you.
I just don't have to book
I just have to stop hiring you.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. So, yeah, I got to protect my people. I got to protect me, my family, my clients, everything else. So I don't think this COVID thing's over yet. And this is not why I came here at all today, but
sure.
Here's my concern about COVID.
Okay.
So we now have, let's think about it. It was really close, but over half of the people in our area are not fully vaccinated.
That's true.
Neil just sent us that.
He said 60% have at least one shot, Neil Williamson.
So I wonder how many of those are going to get the second one. So I'm going to give them the benefit. Let's go all the way down to 30.
Okay.
That we're going to end up with 70% fully vaccinated.
Okay.
So now we're at 30. So 30% not vaccinated. Well, they don't have like a hat on that says I'm not vaccinated. You don't really know who they are. You don't know if they're coming in here or you're seeing them in a restaurant or the grocery store or the car wash or anything else. But the doctors tell us that while they might pass it on to us, we're either not going to get sick or we're not going to get very sick. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it from a sort of philosophical area. But I'm not so okay with it from an economic area. Because if those 30% of America, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people, are hanging around out there, and I gotta believe a lot of them hang out with other people that aren't going to get vaccinated, and they get each other sick. 30% of Americans.
That's like 90 to 100 million people.
Okay, so 100 million people get sick. Forget about 100 million people. 10 million people get sick.
Okay.
Sick badly. So where are we going again? No room in the ICUs. Not enough doctors. Overworked nurses. And the government is going to overreact because that's what we do.
Quarantine. And
they're going to start quarantining and shutting things down and things like that. So I'm scared of it from an economic impact. And that's why if you can't talk to somebody about being vaccinated just because it makes sense for you and your family, let's talk about it from the money.
Okay, and I appreciate everything you just said. I'm going to throw this to you, then we're going to talk saving the fireworks.
Please.
We got some fire folks watching
here.
You said you're conservative.
I am.
Should the government, you're a conservative, should the government say everyone must get vaccinated?
Oh, I think we should have been knocking on people's doors saying,
like
stick your arm out.
The National Guard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, I also understand, what a fiasco that would have become.
Right.
Yeah, this is, and it brings up a lot of interesting questions. So, and I don't know the answers to this. If your kids go to public school, they have to be vaccinated, I think.
Yeah.
They got to show their shot records.
Yeah.
How about private school?
Pretty sure the case.
I don't know, and I'm a Covenant dad,
Yeah.
Juliana went all the way through. I don't really know the
I'm pretty sure that's the
case.
It would be the same case. That they have to get like the, can some, the parents help us out here? Put it in the feed here. I would think it would be like
all that
whooping cough,
all that stuff.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
My
kid's 3. I'm not there yet, guys.
Okay. How about the homeschoolers?
Well, no, not them. But when you go into the Army, and can anyone that's in the military, you have to have vaccinations when you go into the military.
Yeah. It's ironic. I lose musicians from Big Ray and the Cool Cats to the military bands. I lose at least one a year, all the time, because I hire really brilliant players and I teach them how to work in a situation with other people, and they realize that they don't want to work at the Giant in the daytime and play music at night, and so that's how they go. So I lost a very talented young lady that played the fiddle and sang. Charlottesville girl, grew up here. Jessica Brust is her name. I lost her to the Army, and she called me one night and she was crying. I said, "What's going on?" She said, "Well, I don't have a job and I don't have a boyfriend, and I think this is a good move for me." And interestingly, she was 34. She wasn't 24, she was 34, although she's in great shape. So she went off to the military. Now, when you're a musician, even though you end up at the Armed Forces School of Music in Norfolk, before all that, you still go to basic training, and they don't give you any slack either. So she went to basic training, and whether it's her platoon or whatever her group's called, they all tested positive. They all got sick. So yeah, this thing, we're not done with this. It's everywhere. We don't know. And now, because we have sort of conditioned ourselves to think it's over, now you walk into grocery store. When I go to the grocery store, when I go to 7-Eleven, things like that.
Up?
Absolutely, I still mask up. Absolutely.
Double mask?
I don't double mask that much, but I do mask up.
Okay.
And I'm no kid either. I can't get sick. But it's
Your colleague in real estate, Katie Pearl Keller Williams, she says, I believe you can always get a religious exemption for vaccinations at public and or private schools. Katie Pearl, you make this show better all the time. Neil Williamson, Washington
Post. But hold on, Katie Pearl, that's horrifying. Horrifying.
Because you're saying you're leveraging God or whoever you believe in to keep something from getting injected into your arm?
And when that child's family took a religious exemption, did they notify the rest of the parents?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they definitely went down. What are they going to say to the rest of the parents? God or Allah or whatever you believe in said I didn't have to do this?
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to say to the parents?
Well, you ought to say, hey, there's a kid in your class that hasn't been vaccinated. We think you have a right to know. Yeah, I have a lot of great ideas that would just cause more and more trouble.
We're going to get to fireworks.
Please.
Washington Post, May 4th, 2021, from Neil Williamson. In general, both public and private entities have well-established legal authority to impose vaccination requirements. Thank you, Neil Williamson, on that. We're looking forward to seeing you Friday on Real Talk, my friend. All right, let's talk fireworks. And guys, I'm going to give, if you watch the show, you know I love Ray Caddell. And for 20 plus years, in some way or another, Ray Caddell has had skin in the game with saving the fireworks in this community. 20 plus years, this community steward has brought patriotism to parks across Central Virginia. And this steward, this community leader, is doing it yet again.
Sure. So the short version is it was 2020. We hadn't moved to our home yet where I'm very fortunate to have a pool. So I was at Fairview Swim Club. I'm standing in the water next to Joe Big Bang Teague, we call him.
Okay.
Joe's gone to the Midwest now, but his family was here for generations. He was the head of the JCs.
Okay.
Now, we don't have the JCs anymore, and it's kind of a problem. It's the Junior Chamber of Commerce, I think it stands for, or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Young men and women in their 20s, basically, that want to do great stuff for the community. They handled the fireworks at McIntyre Park for a long time, way more than 20 years. They're the ones that put the show on, raised the money, did the whole thing. So I was in the pool and I thanked him for that. And he said, yeah, well, don't thank me too soon because it's over. I said, what are you talking about? He said, there's not enough JCs anymore. We just couldn't make it happen. I said, well, what's the city going to do? Because I didn't know. I thought the city paid for it. He said, the city doesn't have anything to do with it, Ray. I said, what are you talking about? He said, they don't give us anything. So that was 8 days before July 4th, 2020. So I said, well, that ain't happening. So I called my longtime attorney, still my attorney, talk about community. You should get him on. Talk about a community guy, Bill Tucker.
Okay.
And
Bill.
And I said, hey.
Wait, is this 2020 or 20 or 2000?
I'm sorry, 2000. 2000.
Yeah, 2000. Right.
2020 was the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2000. And I said, I just told him the story, and I said, I need to raise some money. He said, well, what do you need to do it right? I said, no, don't ask me that question. I said, what do I need that I can really get this thing started? He said, yeah. I said, just give me whatever you're comfortable with. Guy wrote me a check for $7,500.
Bill Tucker.
A lot of money in 2020.
That is
$7,500.
Still a lot of money now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So we raised some more money. We were able to put it on. So we did that for a few more years. Then I think the realtors took it over for a couple of years, and then the TV stations took it over. I guess it was Gray TV when they came to town.
Yeah.
You know, they took it over, and then all of a sudden last year, same thing.
The ball got dropped.
Nobody was taking it over.
Right.
There wasn't doing anything. So
I first hear about this from
Barbara.
From Bob Shada.
That's right.
Bob Shada on the show. Barbara Lundgren heard Bob on the show.
That's right. I think Bob raised the money a year before too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no real mechanism in place, and there's certainly no municipal mechanism in place.
Isn't that a bummer?
I always found that odd, and I reached out. I sent you a little article from the Hook, which you were talking about, where they talked about. They did a little research, and they said Scottsville does this and gives this money, and all little towns, Gordonsville, all little towns are green, all little towns, and the city and the county never did anything. Now, when I got involved and we started doing some bigger things at McIntyre, we had bouncy rides and ponies and all that stuff. The city never charged us for police.
Right.
And they never
On
charged.
the park use.
Well, they never charged for the park use,
Yeah.
and also for buses because we were having to bus people in because there's just not enough parking there.
Sure.
So they were good. They were good that way. They tried, but the thing just kind of dribbled away. And then last year you got all this, and you got COVID. So we're like, oh man. So it was Barbara and me and Tom Powell.
Tom Powell's watching. Bobby Shada.
And Bobby Shada and. I can't remember what's it. That's how I almost say unorganized. That's how not organized. We don't have a committee. We don't have a president. We don't have anything. Somebody came up with the idea of and the city said not at McIntyre Park, not going to be involved with
COVID,
getting people together because of COVID. So we're like, well, that's a bummer. And somebody said, what about like on top of one of the mountains?
That was me.
Okay.
On the show. Yeah.
And somebody said, I wonder if Wendell Wood would be interested. It took him like 9 seconds to say yes.
I mean, he's a great dude when it comes to this stuff.
He said, talk to me about insurance and things like. I said, oh yeah. Can we keep people from just coming up? And we said, oh yeah. So if I will tell you this, and I know people talk badly about Wendell Wood.
Wendell Wood will give us a background. He owns United Land Corporation, United Land Company. He is the largest landowner in Albemarle County, right? Is that fair?
I think probably.
Yeah.
There were two guys that commercially made this town.
Dr. Charles Hurt and Wendell Wood.
Dr. Hurt and Wendell Wood. There's just no question about it. Yeah, Wendell owns everything all the way up 29, and people are like, you should still say the old Charlottesville. Yeah, that wasn't going to happen, folks, because we kept making it nicer, and more people wanted to come here, and that little school down the road here kept growing and growing and growing. So Wendell got involved, and his family, and they were very helpful, and they've been very helpful again this year. And what a great place to shoot them from.
Great spot.
Because took care of the whole COVID thing, because you could see him from all over the city.
Right. I mean, Tom Powell's watching now. He said we saw him in Greene County. I was watching in the Keswick area. The Smiths, Keith and Yona, were watching at Lake Monticello. So we're talking Greene County. Basically, the Keswick area is on the Gordonsville Orange Line, essentially. Yeah, I
heard there were some tremendous views from Afton Mountain.
Yeah. I mean, it was beautiful.
So, that was great, and everything went great, and it was fine, and partly because we're nice folks, and partly because
you are nice.
The 501c3 had expired from a long time ago. We were like, man, we got to partner with a charity so people can make donations and write them off, or else, we're dead in the water with this thing. So we picked the food bank, and
it went viral.
Everything just went beautifully, and you were a big part of that, of the virality of it, if that's the word.
That is the right word. Yeah. Look at you social media ninja.
And we got done with the whole thing and paid all the bills and counted the money up at the end, and we had $20,000 left over. So what a nice donation to the food bank.
That was then.
Sure, that was then.
And now?
Well, here's...
You got to get to work, community.
Here's... I call it the little boy that cried wolf.
Okay.
It's pretty hard every single year to say, got to give me some money or there's going to be no fireworks. Got to be some money because there's going to be no fireworks.
For sure.
Because people know if the Barbara Lundgrens and the Ray Caddells and the Tom Powells and the Wendell Woods and Bob Shadas and people like that are involved, we're going to have fireworks. It's a question of how big they're going to be and how long they're going to be and how we're going to pay for them. So, so that happened. Because of COVID, there are some people that we have counted on corporately for many years that are maybe not in the same position financially that they were.
Sure.
It's hard for me to look people in the eye and say, there's not going to be fireworks unless you write me a check, because somehow, some way, there's going to be fireworks. Now, we chose a sponsor this year, a charity this year, and we signed a contract for next year too. And I'll tell you who the two charities are. This year it's the Ronald McDonald House. Okay. If you don't know what that is, pretty simple. Your kid's sick, ill in the hospital, on top, you're from out of town maybe, on top of everything else, you got to worry about hotel bills and stuff. Not the Ronald McDonald House takes care of that. I think we can take 20 families now in it.
Get out.
Oh yeah, it's a big deal.
Okay.
And you don't worry about anything. You stay there for free, you get fed for free, they do your laundry for free. You worry about making your child better. So we said, yeah, well, I got a little chills just saying that. We said, what could be better than that? And I will tell you, next year's charity, who we've already selected, is the Charlottesville Almar Rescue Squad, because I didn't like how there's all that stuff. Well, we'll give them some money. Well, maybe we won't. Well, we're going to charge for ambulances. Well, we're going to do that. I said, well, so I called Jim Carpenter, who was involved there for years. I said, do you really need money, or is it just like a thing? He said, we always need money. So that'll be next year. So we have to make this happen this year. We have to make this happen next year. We've got to raise money to do it. There's a GoFundMe link on your website.
Yeah, just put it on Tom Powell. Tom Powell, post the GoFundMe link in this comment section here, and then we'll make sure we get it all over I Love CVille.
I will tell you, it says we have $1,510. I looked at it this morning.
You said as of this morning, $1,450.
Yeah, it's up to $1,510. We have more money. We have more money than that. There's some money that, and my friends, my business friends, if you bring me a check, you don't have to bring it to me. You call me, I'll pick up the check. We don't run it through GoFundMe because we don't pay the 8% or whatever it is.
Their kicker.
Yeah. So we're gonna get there. Or is it going to be a giant show? And are we going to be able to make a substantial donation to a beloved charity in this town? We just don't know that yet. And that's what it's all about.
Why? For you personally, why all the hard work? 21 years of hard work. You're not getting paid.
Well,
that's it for free. You're doing it for free.
And now, first of all, nobody's getting paid.
Yeah.
There has never been a There's never been a we don't even have a Judah. Right. I mean,
it's you guys.
Nobody gets anything. That's our rule.
Right.
I don't know. And I've been in and out of this thing. They call me when we're in trouble. That's how it usually happens.
Well, you put out the fires. That's what we do.
I guess so. I don't know,
That's one of your best strengths, is you put out fires.
It's the 4th of July, man.
It's America.
It's Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yeah, right.
Thomas Jefferson, I mean, really?
Right.
And I hope you get a chance to read that Hook article.
Oh, I read that.
Scottsville has fireworks. Yeah. Stannersville has fireworks. Right. Gordonsville has fireworks. Greater Charlottesville has no fireworks? Really? It's absurd. Sometimes I think the city and the county, because it's really unfair just to lay this all on the city because McIntyre happened to be in the city limits. Right. I'm sure way more people from the county come to the fireworks than the city just because the it's size, spread out. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why they just don't say, okay, here's a line item. This is a budget item. This is important to our community. We're going to do it. I mean, you take the beer garden idea I had. Well, there you go. 3 days of doing the beer garden pays for the fireworks. We're talking $25K. We could sell beer at the fire. Oh no, I don't want to. I mean, heck. 3 days would pay for the fireworks. We have enough to do just to try to raise money. One of the things that I know Bob Shada and I both believe in is quality fireworks. If you're going to have a fireworks show, you got to have a fireworks show. And we hire Bob and I both believe in Zambelli, and it's because they're the #1 fireworks company in the world. So they probably have our show ready now, designed, packed, all that stuff, and they come in usually from Pittsburgh. I think. Right. So it's a big show. Wendell Wood allows us to shoot it from his property on top of Carter's Mountain. Oh, I mean, you just can't, It's the best spot. I will tell you this, folks, because I was running around making sure we had security in the right places and all that kind of stuff last year. My wife and I watched it from the parking lot at the Food Lion at Mill Creek. It was like being inside the fireworks. I mean, you could just see it from all over the city and the county. It's a great opportunity. Take your kids. It's obviously a family-friendly event. Leave your dogs home, right, Pattie? Absolutely. 4th of July, leave your dogs home. Or do this, Pattie. Leave your dogs at home. Pick up some CBD from Animal Connection, maybe a thunder blanket and jacket, and some treats to help them get through the fireworks show. Animal Connection, X Park, right, Pattie Zeller? Now you're talking. That's right, baby. All right, give them the 60-second elevator pitch. And Tom Powell posted the GoFundMe link in the comment section of my Facebook page. We will make it go viral over the course of the week, guys. Give us the 60-second elevator pitch. Sure. Of why they should donate. Absolutely. So we've got all kinds of problems here. We got statues. We got people thinking about this. We have income inequality. We have a lack of affordable housing. We have a lot of things that are are big problems and difficult problems, and we're not going to solve them for one day, even if it's July 4th. But you know what? On the 4th of July, we're celebrating, all Americans are celebrating getting away from the British. It's 1776, folks. That's what we're celebrating. It's our independence from Great Britain. That's what we're celebrating. I mean, who knows what things would have looked like here if all that stuff didn't happen in the Boston Tea Party and, all that stuff. So it's a hard thing to argue about. I mean, it really is. It impacts all of us. It affects all of us. And it celebrates all of us. And that's why we stopped saying save the fireworks, because we didn't want to cry wolf every year. We call it celebrate us, U.S., huh? Celebrate us. We need some money, folks. We need your money. I promise you, every quarter goes to our expenses. There is no funny business. There's no nutty accounting. There's no, what do they call it when the board of directors gets paid? None of that stuff.
Yeah, right.
None of that stuff. And whatever's left over, we didn't even save any money for this year. We probably should have saved some money for this year. We didn't even do that. We had a meeting about it. We said, you know what? We told everybody, if you donate, whatever's left over, we're giving it to the food bank. Folks, if you donate, whatever's left over, it's going to the Ronald McDonald House, I promise you.
You're a good man. Give him a smile right here. There we go. That's for the picture. Judah Whitcower's getting his photo.
Hey, and I know you're a foodie like me,
I am.
so I want to make sure you know these restaurants. You're talking about steakhouses. My number one restaurant of all time is the Aberdeen Barn. Couple generations of folks. They've been there 55 years. Angela, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's my number one restaurant. I talk about that all the time. But I have two new favorites, and they're a block from each other. Vision Barbecue. Have you been there yet?
No, I have been by the Sabine.
Exactly, right next to Sabine. And I had lunch yesterday from Pearl Island.
Oh, it's so good in the Jefferson School.
I didn't know anything about
That's
it.
fantastic.
I didn't. My wife and I were just looking for something a little different. We worked together in the daytime, and I said, just order something. I was coming back from Lake Monticello. In fact, she said, pick it up. I said, where is that? And boy, you drive up, and there's a big cul-de-sac, turn around, and they bring it out to you. It was magnificent. And I don't want to use the word cheap because I don't mean that, but yeah, lunch for two was under $25, including dessert, and there was plenty of food.
There you go.
So there you go. Pearl Island, Vision Barbecue. I'm a barbecue snob. I mean, I make my own pastrami.
You do. You smoke the meats.
Even my own pastrami I make. I mean, I'm a snob. They're doing a great job there. Two young guys. Well, good. I'm glad you've been to both those places.
You are doing a great job for this community. Hell of a job.
I live here. It's pretty easy.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Call me anytime for anything, and anytime you let me come on and beg for money for the fireworks, I'll be back.
Ray Caddell.
Thanks.
You have
Judah.
a good one. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We got Pattie Zeller coming up in moments. You will see the GoFundMe link, guys, across the I Love CVille Network today. Please donate to this. Don't you want coming out, we hope out of COVID, your kids, your family, all of us enjoying the fireworks in this community, and for a moment of our lives, taking a brief respite from the stresses that is COVID-19. That's what the fireworks offer as well. We got the fabulous, the beautiful, the talented, the also Renaissance, the risk taker. She hedges her risk, and she does it extremely well. Her name is Pattie Zeller on set. How are you?
Hey,
Ooh, I like
I'm
the
good.
blue.
I'm a vision today, aren't I?
You look good.
It's very bright.
How are you?
Doing great. Rested and recharged.
Fireworks and what they mean to you?
No bueno for dogs. So we choose to do things differently at Animal Connection. We have a really good lineup of all kinds of comedies, everything from herbs, CBD, anything we can do to keep them well and safe. And really, we have the only fireworks that dogs really like. I've been busily baking.
Ooh, there we go.
And we have some really great looking dog treats that look like fireworks. I mean, we have a nice Independence Day collection of dog treats and really yummy ice cream and things that your dogs are going to love for the holiday weekend. And we're making them. We're making them in our bakery. So, but yeah, CBD, herbs, even some flower essences or combinations, essential oils. We have them all, and we can tell you how to use them.
How's everything going? What's new in your life?
Oh my gosh, I just spent 3 days with some incredible retail and marketing people.
Yeah?
Really, I mean, nationally, internationally known people like Bob and Zunigan,
Ooh.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Wow,
Yeah.
Gary V.
Yeah, Gary V. I mean, learned a lot. You know, I'm pivoting.
What did Gary V teach you?
Oh my gosh. He, in a nutshell, that the market is moving fast and we all need to move faster if
Okay.
you're going to stay in retail.
Okay.
Move faster.
What were his strategies?
Lots of different ways to do online
Content creation.
and creating a frictionless guest experience.
Talk to me about that.
Well, I mean, you and I have talked about this before. I mean, if retailers want to stay retailers, you need to be more than retailers. You need to create services and more reasons for more people to shop more often in your store. And this is especially true now that the pandemic is waning and people are going back in. And so basically to create a business for the next level of retail, if you're not doing your retail as a place for events, a place for services, a place where a group can meet up and have a special interest, you're going to die. That's pretty much it. You're going to die because that's the only reason that's going to set you apart from online sales. That's it in a nutshell. So I've been learning some really cool strategies, and people, you know, we're doing a lot of this now at Animal Connection already. I mean, we already have amazing services. You can get your dog trained, grooming, self-serve dog wash. We have events that are coming up that your dogs can participate in and your family can enjoy. But there's going to be lots more coming up in the next 2 or 3 months.
Oh, you want to give us a tip?
No.
You don't want to tip your hand?
Nope, not
You
yet.
sure? You got the news stations watching you
Yeah,
here.
I know. I got to put a few things into place this week. I mean, I got
Because
fired.
I know, but I'm not going to get it out there.
Well, yeah, and I can drop more next week. But you know, the mantra for us is, you know, how would my customers want to shop? You know, what do they feel comfortable? Whether it's curbside or coming in your store or coming out to hang out or delivery, whatever it is. That's what we're going to do, and that's what we've actually been doing. We're just going to be doing it in a little bit different way, and there'll be more. I can drop on that next week.
I love it. What's Barking Local Wednesdays at 3 o'clock on the I Love CVille Network. Next Wednesday, Angie Gunter
She is.
from the SPCA.
That's right. We are going to do a biweekly feature with the SPCA, and then in weeks in between that, we'll be featuring dogs and cats from Green Dogs Unleashed and Caring for Creatures. So we are really going strong with a rescue pet focus on every show. We really want to, you know, we're leaders in the pet community as far as retailers go anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, we really want to bring that home and use our influence to help them do what they need to do.
I like it. Let me throw this to you here. You have your ear to the grindstone, ear to the street. You know a ton of people in this area. You get, you know, hundreds of customers coming in, if not more, into your store every week.
Yes.
The mood, the temperature on the street in Charlottesville. How do you characterize it?
Wow, you know, it's very different. I mean, it's like hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. And you know, I really feel for the people that are having troubles getting people to, you know, to join their establishment and work. And I understand the price point, and I understand the benefits and all of that. And we did talk a little bit about that in my class. But here's something interesting to consider. We discussed. And I kind of threw this, I'm going to take credit for this, I threw this out there, but you know, if you're trying to hire people and you don't have anything else to give them, you know, like money, or you've exhausted all the benefits you have, why not partner with another business, right? So let's say you're a restaurant and you can't afford to do anything else. Well, you could come to someone like me and say, hey, guy, I want to hire in my restaurant business. You got a dog at home? Great. I'm going to give you a free bag of pet food from Animal Connection as part of your monthly bonus package. And then he's going to comp me maybe, I don't know, a pizza, steak dinner, you know, whatever that equal value is. But, you know, looking for different ways to comp and give bonuses and give benefits to people that they haven't thought of yet. Because, you know, you can take your dollar amount only but so high before, you know, you're not going to have any return on your investment, right?
Sure. Any margin left.
Especially if they're entry-level people. But what you can do is think outside the box and think of a benefit that you can offer them that maybe they haven't even thought of before.
What do you do with 20% empty storefronts in the downtown mall?
Make condos. Make affordable housing. I don't know, especially, these big buildings that you were talking about. Housing.
Yeah?
Find a way to make housing.
Micro apartments studio apartments on the mall?
Either that or...
Take downtown grill and, dude, that's not a bad idea. Take the downtown grill and chop it into...
Didn't someone have that idea
it was Oliver
years
Kootner.
ago? Right.
Oliver Kootner. City Council kiboshed the idea. It was off the downtown mall on Water Street.
There are a lot of young professionals that needs to be in downtown Charlottesville. Like, for instance, at Ix, where my store is, it is full. And there's new tech centers coming in, startups that are coming in and renting space. Where are these people going to live? Well, maybe that's a great idea to divide up some of these spaces and provide, like, maybe a common kitchen and, like, I don't know, like a one-bedroom sitting area space. You divide it into that, and everyone shares a kitchen. I don't think outside the box. It might not make the kind of dollars that... what would you say, several $1 million building is looking for? But I mean, it's something, and something's better than nothing.
No doubt, no doubt.
Charlottesville
summer, coming out of COVID, your predictions for the next 6 months of the year?
Oh my gosh. Based on what I've seen, I mean, festivals are happening, in-house music's happening. We're doing dog events like crazy. We have got a really great schedule that we're going to announce completely next week. But, just small things that people can do that are still outside, get their family involved, to big things. I mean, I know that all the breweries and restaurants and wineries, they're all bringing music. They're all creating more reasons for you to be outside and gather in a responsible way. And this thing about the downtown beer garden, 100% for it. Do it. I think
it would be amazing for Animal Connection, be amazing for everyone downtown.
It's money left on the table if you don't. Somebody else is going to do it, I really don't want to...
The town manager of Scottsville just straight up said, I'm looking at it right now.
I really don't want to see it go to the county. Sorry, county, but I really don't.
It would.
I like keeping it downtown.
Yeah.
There's more opportunities downtown.
I think this is an arms race between Albemarle County, the city of Charlottesville, and town of Scottsville. It's its own town.
Yeah.
So you have an arms race between 3 different entities going after this concept literally right now.
Right. And this kind of thing of the beer garden, we're going to be doing something differently like that with Dog Fest. The metal cups that you get at festivals where you clip it to your belt or your purse or whatever it is. We're going to be doing that with our Big Dog Blonde Ale at Ix. We're going to be doing some cans too, but we're also going to do some kegs. And, our idea of a festival is going to be very different this year. So, coming up, September 19th,
I cannot
Sunday,
wait to see what you are doing.
With the Gladstones.
On
the stage.
Charlottesville's best party band.
Yep, absolutely.
The Gladstones.
Yep.
Have you been to Dirty Nelly's yet?
Is it open yet?
I don't. Let me check the Facebook page.
She
let me know that Dirty Nelly's is under new ownership. If you watch this program, we let you guys know because of her that Dirty Nelly's is now owned by Jordan Brunk, who I actually grew up with in Williamsburg, Virginia.
The one day that I knew something before Jerry Miller did.
Yeah, that's 100% true. That is 100% true. Jordan Brunk, guys, now the new owner of Dirty Nelly's. Any advice you want to give my friend Jordan Brunk?
Don't change it. Definitely do not change the acoustics. The band members that go there say that some of the best acoustics for a small venue in Charlottesville. Do not move that picture over the fireplace, with the cigarette in the little hole.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, keep the character. It's the last bastion of old Charlottesville left. It would be a travesty.
What is your favorite sandwich at Dirty Nelly's? What's your meal of choice?
Usually the other half of whatever Conrad's having.
Captain Conrad's her man. He's a great dude.
Yeah,
I like that Lady Godiva.
What's that?
I like the Lady Godiva sandwich.
He likes veggie subs, turkey subs, so I just have a half of whatever he's having. Let him choose.
Let him choose.
That's one night I don't have to make a decision because anything's a win.
So,
right?
my friend, You're in the saddle constantly. You look like you're recharged and refreshed.
I'm on fire.
You're ready to go, huh?
Bring it.
Yeah?
I have got 80 pages of notes from the last 3 days.
Gosh.
I know.
Give us a tip. Come on, let us know what you're going to do. Just give us a tease.
I can't.
Not even a small
No,
tease?
because I need to go over all of it with staff, and they're like, "Oh crap, what has she got for us to do now?" But then again, they're kind of excited too.
How about a new idea that could happen?
I have a lot of new ideas, and it has to do with what's sparking local and using one show in a lot of different ways.
Oh.
Multi-channel.
I like it.
Multi-channel experiences.
Experiential marketing.
That's right. Multi-channel.
Very nice.
We're
very
micro-pivoting.
Nice. Very nice. And micro-pivoting. I'm learning so
You like that?
many words.
Oh,
Yes.
I've got other words for you.
Pattie Zeller
bunch of Gary V words for you.
owns Animal Connection. Animal Connection is in Ix Park. The place is fabulous. She celebrates her 20-year anniversary.
Woohoo! In September.
September.
Actually, we really kind of started in June, because June was when I gave notice where I was working and sold my advertising agency. So it's started.
20 years, Pattie
Yeah,
Zeller. 20
yeah.
years of proudly serving this community. My friend, we wish you the luck as always, anything you need as always. And she, frankly, has always been there for us in this business all the time. We've worked together for 5 years and change.
And live to tell about it.
And live to tell about it. She is as good as it gets, guys, when it comes to people and clients. And I'll tell you what, I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you
to
very
see
much.
you. J-Dubs, she looks beautiful. Can we snap a photo?
Oh,
of
my.
her over here?
Do I have time for 2 short announcements?
Oh, please.
Because I do want to talk about the SVCA very, very quickly.
Absolutely.
And so we have 2 things going on. It is Adopt a Shelter Cat Month.
Okay.
And anyone that has adopted a cat or a kitten
That's a good one.
from January through right now, if you've adopted it from Green Dogs Unleashed, yes, they have cats, Caring for Creatures, or the Charlottesville SPCA, we have free gift bags for you at Animal Connection. And so you're going to bring your adoption certificate, come in, get a big free bag of goodies, rock on with, and have a great time with your cat. The other thing is, it is also National Foster Pet Month, and we have a fantastic deal going with the Charlottesville Albemarle SPCA, and they greatly need fosters for dogs and cats. So if you go and you talk to Angie Gunter at the Charlottesville SPCA, you apply to be a foster parent for a dog or a cat, you are accepted, and you bring an animal home, guess what? You're going to get a $10 gift certificate for Animal Connection. The first 50 people that become foster parents at the Charlottesville SPCA are going to get gift certificates from us. How about it?
How about that, Judah
So,
Karen?
yeah, and it's June, and you better hurry, because those things will go quickly. The third thing is, and this is going to be so much fun, anybody in the media that's watching, you need to come to Animal Connection next Saturday, the 19th, because it's National Dog Party Day. We are going to try to assemble as many dogs as we can. They're going to have free cupcakes, free ice cream, and birthday or gotcha day, and we're all going to assemble, and at 11:30 we're going to sing happy birthday to all these dogs. And it,
so
you know,
awesome.
it's going to be real. It sounds so silly, but it's going to be so
no,
fun.
it does
So,
not sound
wouldn't it-
silly. It sounds fun.
Wouldn't that be cool if we could have the
Yes.
world's biggest dog party?
Yeah.
You know, so we're going to go for it.
You could
next
conceivably
Saturday.
get 2 Guinness World Records.
Possibly.
She probably has the record for the longest treat bar ever assembled. Dogfest 2019.
Yeah.
This darn thing was what, size of a football field?
No, it was, okay, so we had 8 10 by 10 tents,
Okay.
tables all the way down, completely full of treats, trial sizes, samples, you name it. And we gave people a shopping bag, and they could just go and taste the menu, you know? And we're going to do that again this year.
Well, I tell you what, it is great to see you.
It's nice to see you guys.
I'm glad we could make this work on a Thursday.
Thank you.
It was our pleasure.
It was news I couldn't wait.
I am glad you got it out here, and we will see you Wednesday.
That's right, Wednesday on What's
on
Sparking
What's
Local.
Sparking Local at
3 o'clock. Be there, be square.
And bark local, and shop local, and live local.
That's right.
Love local, laugh local.
Did we say drink local? That too?
Drink
Because you
local.
know we do.
Thank you for joining
All
us,
right.
my friend.
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. We'll get a couple
All
other
right.
items out of the notebook, J Dubs. If we want to do, if we want to go get Pattie over here to the side.
Okay.
Pattie Zeller, thank you.
you.
Thank you. Good to see you, Pattie Zeller.
Alrighty.
I'm going to get to some comments here, then a couple items here from the notebook that we need to get to. So obviously well, first we told you about the drip bar that's coming to Water Street. We let you know about that earlier this week. The IV bar that's about infusing vitamins into your body on Water Street into the Water Street parking garage. You will see what we talked about on Monday, tonight, on CBS 19. Just got confirmation that that interview happened, and you will see it on television this evening. What you're seeing happen is, and I'm just going to cut to the chase here. The news business is a tough business. And the traditional outlets are cutting their resources and their staff, and they're doing that in favor of younger staff fresh out of college. And I was there at one time. My first job at the University of Virginia was as a staff writer at the Daily Progress. And coming out of school, working for the newspaper, I had grit, I had moxie, I had hustle, I had chutzpah. I was willing to work harder than anybody else. Everything you need to get after it and make a name for yourself. What I did not have coming fresh out of college was the contacts and the resources to get the stories and content that I wanted out there. So we're seeing all the outlets stream the show, this one, and then take the content from it and turn it into 15, 30-second, 60-second bites on the news or 15-inch stories. Actually, it's not inch count anymore. It's probably word count since it's online base. And newspapers. So the next ones you're going to see coming out there, the Drip Bar, Water Street, I think it's going to be epic and extremely successful. You're going to see the beer garden concept in the news, and you're going to see Scottsville pursuing this beer garden concept potentially in the news as well. Follow it closely. It's an arms race happening right now. Downtown Charlottesville, town of Scottsville, in Albemarle County. And I'm going to cut straight to the chase. I'm running for the Board of Supervisors in the Scottsville District in Albemarle County. Donna Price is the incumbent. She's the current seat holder. I will weave this concept into our platform. I think if executed correctly and done safely, it could have a tremendous impact on our community. From a revenue standpoint, that can be allocated to firemen, policemen, teachers, and EMTs to give them better raises. From a revenue standpoint, it can be allocated to school reconfiguration, West Main streetscape projects, and other infrastructure initiatives. If we do this correctly, it could also create potentially equity from a customer demographic standpoint in downtown Charlottesville. When you walk downtown Charlottesville, you see a customer base, we're cutting to the chase, that is 90% plus white. We need to figure out ways to create a customer base in downtown Charlottesville that's more diverse. If you allow customers to walk all up and down the mall, perhaps with a beverage in hand, as opposed to having to sit down at a spot and go through the expenses of food, appetizers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to patronize said spot. Instead, you have the drink as maybe the barrier of entry and the walking down. I would bet you will see a more diverse customer base in downtown Charlottesville. So many layers to this onion. We'll keep you posted on the I Love CVille Network. Tomorrow, Nancy Gill, the former mayor of Scottsville, the brewmaster of James River Brewery tomorrow as well, in-house. You can believe we'll talk Matt Lawless, the town manager's idea of a beer garden in Scottsville, Virginia, on the I Love CVille show. Tomorrow's show is going to be hot, guys. You have a good one. Take care.